What is up, YouTube? Today, we're diving into the best M700 attachments and calibrations in Delta Force. The M700 is a bolt-action sniper rifle with well-rounded stats that make it a good pick in most situations. It has a solid fire rate of 45 rounds per minute and an impressive muzzle velocity of 985 meters per second, holding its own even if it doesn't quite match the R93's fire rate or the SV98's muzzle velocity. It deals 72 damage per shot and can kill with one shot to the head at all distances. Body shots only take 2, but past around 75 meters, limb shots will usually take 3. The upside is that it holds 10 rounds instead of 5, and the build increases the muzzle velocity by around 335 meters per second to make sure that you can take those long shots. What makes the M700 unique is its attachment flexibility. It has more possible combinations than any other sniper rifle in the game, so there is room to experiment and find what works best for your playstyle. And with all of that said, let's get into the attachments. Today we begin with a blank M700 and we'll start with the handguard, where we'll put on the M700 Advanced Frame System. This will give us a good amount of handling, stability, but most importantly it's going to allow us to attach a whole bunch of new items onto the weapon. The rest are also pretty good, but this one just gives you the most amount of new slots, so let's put it on. Now a whole bunch of options have opened up for us, and let's go from the front to the back, starting off with the barrel, where we go for the M700 Predator Military Barrel. This increases our range and the muzzle velocity. The most important part here is the muzzle velocity, and it does not drop or increase our fire rate. That's really what we care about here, because there is also the long barrel, which will give you more muzzle velocity, but as you can tell, it will drop our fire rate by a really large amount here. And this range increase, believe it or not, does not really affect the weapon that much, because no matter what, you're always going to be doing a 2-shot to the body and a 1-shot to the head. So this range increase is not worth it, whereas the Predator Military Barrel increases the muzzle velocity without dropping the fire rate. That is what we care about here. Part of the reason why we did not want to drop the fire rate is because next is the muzzle, where we're putting on the Resonant Sniper Rifle Suppressor, which increases our range and the muzzle velocity most importantly, but it does drop our fire rate by a tiny little bit, only 3 rounds per minute, which is not a big deal, but as you can tell, it increases your muzzle velocity by much more than just that barrel that we had, and it doesn't drop our fire rate as much. We are going to be making up the handling and stability drops with a couple gains from the rest of the attachments, but this is the best trade-off so far of fire rate to muzzle velocity, so let's put it on. Next up is the bipod, where I do suggest you put it on, because although it drops your handling, you don't care, since all it does is really lower your ADS speed. You're going to be in such far distances that your ADS speed is not going to matter much, but if you have the bipod deployed, you will be able to land follow-up shots a lot easier due to the stability and control increases. So let's put it on. On the left rail and the right rail, we really can't put anything useful, it's only flashlights, so ignoring those two, let's move on to the rest, where on the upper rail we put on the DT Python handguard panel, and the same thing on the upper patch, the right and the left patch. Each one of these is going to increase your handling by 1, and although it's not that important for a sniper rifle, you will be happy with the ADS movement speed that you gain from this. It does add up, and believe it or not, it is a lot better to strafe with the sniper rifle, because otherwise most snipers are going to be standing still, and if you're standing still even at 300 meters, then you will be a much easier shot than if you have higher ADS movement speed. Next is the foregrip, where we go all the way down here for the folding grip. It gives us a huge amount of stability and a little bit of handling in the way of ADS speed, which although you don't care too much about it, it is always nice to have. The stability though is really all we care about here, because this will make your sway a lot less, and therefore it will be easier to land your shots at those very far distances. So let's put it on. The optic is of course preference, but I do prefer going for the 6 to 12 Insight Sniper Scope. That is because it does have this ballistic calculator on the top, and if you learn how to use it, it can be extremely powerful. But you can go for any other scope that you would like to use. I just highly recommend the Insight 6 to 12 Sniper Scope at the ranges that you'll be using this at. Don't forget to put on the kill flash whenever you have that option, because otherwise your lens will show up as an extremely bright flashlight to your enemies as soon as you're aiming anywhere near near them. Next up on the magazine, you don't have to go for this if you really care about your ADS speeds, but I do recommend the 10 round magazine, that way you don't have to reload as much. And if you do put on the 10 round magazine like I am today, then don't forget to put on the mag assist. It does give you +1 handling in the way of ADS speed, which is very nice to have for free. And last but not least, on the rear grip, the AR Heavy Tower Grip will give you the option to put on a grip mount, so that's what we're going for here today, so that we can put on the stable grip base. Stability is one of the most important stats, right alongside muzzle velocity and a little bit of control for the extra follow-up shots. So let's put it on. Now this is the finished build. Let's take a look real quick at the detailed stats so that you can see what will be changing after the calibration. The damage fall off multiplier does not change, so let's move on to the control, where you can see we have slightly made it better, but truly this does not matter that much because it is a bolt action rifle. Your fire rate is not going to be fast enough for this to matter. Next, on the handling, you can see that we have definitely sacrificed handling in each and every aspect here. So the ADS speed, the sprint to fire delay, the ADS movement speed, all of that got worse, but that is okay because you're not going to be taking shots anywhere closer than 100 meters with this thing. This is purely for long ranges. You should not be using the M700 at very short ranges unless you're crazy and want to go for some quick scoping clips. So let's take a look at the stability now, which will be changing when we finish the calibration. And as you can tell, we barely have any breath sway range, which is really all that matters at these long ranges, right along with the breath holding duration. The recoil reduction when holding breath is also going to be useful to you, just to be able to put those follow-up shots right on target. Now let's move on to the calibration so you can see how to make the weapon even better. First, the barrel, where we move the weight limit all the way down to the minimum to get that extra ADS movement speed, which I know some people find interesting that you would be using ADS movement speed on a sniper rifle, but trust me, if you strafe while you snipe, even when you have the bipod down, it is possible if you stay behind that same cover, the enemy will have a much harder time to hit you, whereas they will be usually standing still and you won't be. So let's go to the length now, where we move it up to maximum to get the maximum amount of muzzle velocity. It is a sniper rifle. This is an extremely useful stat for it, so that your bullet lands on the enemy as quickly as possible in case that they are strafing themselves. On the foregrip, let's go for the placement all the way down to the minimum for the extra ADS speed, because this little tiny bit of extra control that we could get out of it is not worth it due to the fire rate of the weapon. So instead, ADS speed is a little bit more useful than that. Then let's move the thickness all the way down to the minimum for the extra ADS movement speed for the same reasons that we mentioned earlier. And now let's move on to the rear grip, where we move the weight limit all the way down to the minimum for the aiming stability while breathing, which will make your sway a lot better. And this -6 extra control won't affect you due to the fire rate of the weapon. Now the thickness goes all the way down to the minimum also to give you a little bit of extra hipfire aim speed, because it is definitely more useful than stability when moving, since you won't be moving that much, and when you are going to be moving, because again we kept a decent ADS movement speed, you won't really notice this -16 because our stability when moving is already quite good. And last but not least, on the optic, I like to go for the minimum on the eye relief. The rest I like to keep the same, but it is preference on the zoom here. I just like to do this so that I can see more inside of your optics window. So now let's go back to the detailed stats so that you can see what has changed. And the fall off multiplier, of course, is the same thing as usual. So let's move on to the control, where you can see that we have made it a little bit worse. And I might sound like a broken record, but don't worry about this because of the fire rate. The fire rate is slow enough that this really won't affect you. So let's move on to the handling, where you can see now that our ADS movement speed has improved by a lot from what it used to be, so much that it is now right above the default. But most importantly, on the stability, our breath sway range got even better, while the rest of the stats are just amazing. So you will definitely have an easy time being able to line this up to your enemy's head. And now, before we go to the firing range for the M700, let's go to the secondary weapon, because this is going to be necessary if somebody sneaks up on you. The Glock 18 seems to be the best one here, just because it's automatic. But being automatic with an extremely high fire rate means it has extreme recoil. So for the muzzle, we're putting on the Elite Pistol muzzle brake because it has the highest recoil control possible on the weapon. Then on the barrel here, we're putting on the G18 impact long barrel because it's the only one available and it helps your recoil once again. Don't forget on the lower rail to put on an O-light, because whenever you have it on, it gives you all of these stats. It's just quite useful to have, since you're not going to be using this all of the time. You don't really care too much to show where you're at with the flashlight on. The optic is purely preference. I just like to go for the O-sight, but you can choose any one of these that you really want. And then for the rear grip, I like to go for the XK competition rear grip because of the amount of control that it gives you. And right after that, on the magazine, definitely put on the 33 round mag because of the extremely high fire rate at 1,172 rounds per minute. The more rounds, the better, So let's put this on. And for the calibration, let's just go over it real quick. We're going for the barrel, where we put the weight limit all the way up and the length all the way down to the minimum, so that we can get this extra firing stability and ADS speed. The way that you're going to be using this weapon is that if anybody sneaks up on you, this is what you bring out. You don't want to use the M700. So this is meant to be at extremely close ranges, and the firing stability helps you with the recoil pattern even at those ranges. Then, on the rear grip, we're going for the weight limit all the way up to the maximum and the thickness all the way down for the extra hip-fire aim speed and the extra control. If somebody sneaks up on you, the hip-fire aim speed is really just ADS speed, which is extremely useful, and the extra control is just extremely useful on this weapon. Last but not least, on the optic, I do the same thing where I just move the eye relief all the way down to the minimum to be able to see more inside of the optics window. That's really it for the Glock 18. I just wanted to go quickly through it. So now let's move on to the M700 and go to the firing range now that we have dialed in our attachments calibration. All that I want to show you here is exactly how to use this scope, because it does have the range finding ability, and I know that some people don't know how to use it or how it works. Now, once you're aimed down sights, you can see on the lower right above the weapon where it says target range /lock. It is my K key by default on PC, but you can change it to be your middle mouse button, which I do recommend you do. If you don't know what it does, it will calculate the drop for you. So let's say that we're shooting at the corner of the firing range. You can see that the bullet won't hit that exact spot that I was aiming at. It hit just a little bit below, although our muzzle velocity is so high that it's hardly noticeable. But now if we use the rangefinder, you can see that the red dot moves down just a tiny little bit, and that is where the bullet is actually going to hit at that range. So this is extremely useful at those very far ranges, let's say 300 meters more or less, because what you thought might have been a headshot is actually a chest shot at that range. The M700 is a sniper rifle that falls right in the middle of the pack due to its stats, but it has the most amount of possible attachments for any sniper, so maybe there's better combinations. Let me know. And now that we have the build locked in, let's jump into a fun gaming train wreck to see the setup in action. Enjoy! We're in train wreck, let's have some fun here. I just saw these people. Let me see if I can... How did I miss that? Okay, well, she's just standing still trying to burst fire me. Get him too, there we go. Nice little running shot. Good. What a good start to this game. Oh, I missed that. Is he gonna pop up again? Come on. Okay, well, he just stood there. Hell yeah, I love this game right now. We're using the M700 today. It has a very good fire rate, but not as good as the R93. Oh, no way I got him. That guy's sad. Oh, she's sad too. Let's go. Doing very good right now. Whoa, I wasn't even aiming at the one that I got. That was crazy, actually. This gun also has very good muzzle velocity, but not as good as the SV98. Sticking to this rock here today. It's a good rock for us. Oh my god. I love getting a headshot. The sound it makes whenever you get a headshot is so satisfying. Put the bipod out. Catch him as he runs. Ooh. Again. Yeah, there we go. Hello. Got you too. What about you? Can I get you? No way, right? Oh, wait a minute. Patience, patience. No, stop zigzagging. That is so sad. No. The one thing that would keep me from using this weapon more, though, would be the damage itself. Because, as it turns out, whenever you hit the arms or the legs past 74 meters, even after the range increases that we have done to it, if you do that, if you hit the arms and the legs, it will actually be a 3-shot kill instead of a 2-shot kill like it would be if you were closer than 74 meters. Which is exactly why anytime that I'm going for any long-range battles here, you're gonna see me going for the head. Never really going for anything but the head. Oh, hold on. There's somebody right in front of me. Take out the pistol. You definitely need that. Ooh. Oh, ha ha ha. Oh my goodness, I love this game so much right now. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to win this one, but we're doing so well. So many headshots. Yes, there we go. I'm glad he was hurt too. Got him in the air. What about you, huh? I know you've been there for a while. I see you. See your little head. Look at this one. Set up. She's going to stop eventually. There we go. Not sure what she was doing. I think she was actually just AFK. They're capturing B already. That's so quick. Let me see if I can get to a good spot here before dying from the time. They're not seeing me. Good. Put a respawn beacon right here. Nice and sneaky. If you didn't know, you could definitely shoot through that little hole. You can actually get headshots if you're not so high up. See you. Can I get you while running? It's a little bit hard because look at that. That was 2 shots. I needed to hit 3 shots because I hit him in the leg or the arm or something. Bam! I feel like I'm in D-Day right now. If I can scan her. Yep, there we go. Tank right there, though. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, 1, 2. Not 3. Someone else got him. Yeah, this is not a sniper rifle that I would really use that often, due to the lack of a 2-shot kill. Don't get me wrong, if you hit the body, it will be a 2-shot kill. But when they're running sideways, the only area available to you is their arm and their leg sometimes. I see you. 1, 2, there we go. Good. Let's put a spawn beacon down finally. Never mind, they got it. Maybe I can get a free point or 2 though. Little headshot. How did I miss that? I really thought I was gonna hit that. Bring out the pistol, there we go. Good. Okay, hold on. Yeah, you're not gonna do that to me. What do you think this is, huh? First get you, and then... Oh, man. She just doesn't expect me to be here. Oh, that's not good. Oh, God. She's right there. I'm gonna ignore her for a second. She's running a little bit too fast. Ooh. Thank you very much for that kill. Very nice of you. And hopefully... Well, never mind. I got a headshot still, though. What the... Calm down, bro. Well, if you can't... Okay. I hate this guy. These guys do not stop moving. How did I not... Oh, man. That's sad. Yeah, let's try this again. I love it when they're AFK like that. That's just free points. It's my favorite thing ever. Now, we did go from 5 to 10 rounds. Oh, my fucking God. I'm gonna kill myself in Minecraft. Let's go all the way to the back where this rock is, because now they're getting closer to D2. Ooh, that's a spawn beacon. We get that. This is a very good spot for us long-range snipers here. Even if you can't go for the headshot, you definitely should go for the body shot. Got him too. What about her? Ooh, I did not hit the head. I thought I would have. We do have 10 rounds, but even that sometimes is not enough. We went from 5 to 10. Because we want to make sure we don't have to reload. That's a long waste of time. Wait, there's somebody over here somewhere. Right behind that rock. I see her. Perfect. Right on the dome. 276. Very good. Wait, I don't think he realized that there would be somebody shooting at him at this range. What? Oh man, I really thought that that would have been a headshot. There we go. Ooh, this will now be a sniper battle. The beauty of having as much stability as we have here today is that you don't have to put on the bipod. You can, it'll be a lot easier, but you don't absolutely have to. These guys are professionals or something. They just don't stop moving and jumping. These guys are crazy. Patience, patience. That's what I gotta have. They're gonna stop moving eventually. That's when I will get them. There's one. If they're hurt, definitely should go for them. I have not hit a shot in a long time. There we go. That's an easy one right there. That's also an easy one. Perfect. Thought I was gonna miss again. Use my artillery. Oh, my teammate used it already. Only 30 tickets. There's a chance. You know, whenever you're playing against people like this, you're gonna have a hard time really hitting them when they're jumping up and down all the time. There we go. There's one. How about you? Stop jumping? It would be very nice if you stopped jumping, actually. I only have 1 round. 1 bullet and a dream. There we go. There's the dream. That's the M700. That was a pretty good match. It doesn't have that amazing of a fire rate, or that amazing of a muzzle velocity, or that amazing of damage. It's really straight in the middle. It is the most mid sniper rifle that we have. So in the comments down below, let me know what you thought of this M700 build, and if you have a way to improve it even more. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one. I will out.